Hey, welcome back to Yoga with AJ. We're going to practice forward bends and hip openers today. Forward bends are considered postures of surrender. They're cooling poses. And you can't really surrender if you're trying so very hard. So we're going to just breathe and relax and learn how to stay in our forward bends in a nice, peaceful way. So let's get going with our forward bends. So we're going to start out with our feet hip distance apart. You measure out 1 foot distance, that's hip distance. The feet are in line with the hips. Both the toes and the heels in exact alignment with each other. You're going to take a deep breath in, interlock your fingers, stretch the arms up towards the ceiling, turn the palms up, feel the skin of your palms stretching, and gently press the shoulders down into their sockets. Pull up from the stomach, pull up the kneecaps, and gently press down into the floor with your feet. Take a couple of deep breaths here. 2 deep breaths. 1 more nice long in breath. Exhale fully, bring the arms down. Interlock your fingers. If you can, press the heels of the palms together. And if this feels uncomfortable, you can also have them apart. Now we stretch the upper body. Inhale deeply and stretch up as you press your hands down. Pulling up the kneecaps, opening the shoulder blades, gently bringing them in towards each other, opening the chest up towards the sky. If you're uncomfortable with your neck all the way back, keep it higher up. Taking 1 more deep breath here. And as you exhale, come back. Stretch out the arms. Nice big circles with your arms. Inhale deeply as you stretch your arms up. 4 times, and go the other way, just opening up the shoulders, the back, the muscles around the neck, chest. 1 last stretch and relax. Bring the legs together. We'll do just 2 gentle sun salutations. Draw the legs together. Let the thighs and the ankle bones touch each other. Roll your shoulders back. Relax the shoulders and the elbows. Bring the hands to prayer position. Stretch your neck up, elongate it up towards the ceiling, and now stretching your arms up, pressing the shoulders down into the sockets, reaching up through the side body, pulling up the kneecaps, pressing down through the feet. Reach forward and down. You can bend your knees if you need to. Try and get the fingertips and the toes to be in line with each other. And if you're still here, not able to touch the floor, that's fine too. Bend your knees as much as you can to get your palms down. If your legs are flexible, you'll be able to do this with the legs straight, and gently draw the head in towards your knees. Stretch the right leg back, bring the knee down onto the floor, stretching up to the sky with your upper body, gently pressing down with your palms and your hips. Curl the right toe under, pull up the kneecaps, slide the left leg back to the nice push-up position. Make sure your wrists and your shoulders are in line with each other. Bring the knees, chest and chin down. Inhale, slide forward and up. Open the shoulders nice and wide. Press them down. Press the feet down. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, press up into inverted V. On the next inhalation, take a giant step forward with the right leg. If you need to, you can take 2 steps to come forward and just wiggle your toes till your toes and your fingertips are in line once more. Press down with your fingers or your palms and your hips. Stretch up with your upper body. Curl the toes under on your left foot and take a big step forward. Once again, your knees are either bent or straight. Your fingertips are either on the floor or your palms are down, head coming in towards the knees. Inhale and stretch gently up. At the very top, press the hips forward and come back. Let's try that on the left. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands to prayer position. Inhale and stretch up. Gently arch back. Exhale, reach forward and down. Inhale, left leg back. Look up. Retain the breath. Bring the right leg back. Exhale, knees, chest and chin down. Inhale, slide forward and up. Exhale, inverted V. Inhale, bring the left foot forward. Look up. Exhale, bring the other leg forward. Bring the right foot to meet the left. Inhale and stretch up gently, arch back at the top. Exhale, bring your arms by your side. Round 2 on the right. Inhale as you exhale. Bring your hands to prayer. Inhale and stretch up. Exhale, reach forward and down. Inhale, right leg back. Look up. Hold that breath. Retain it. Left leg to push-up position. Exhale, knees, chest and chin down. Inhale, slide forward and up. Exhale, come to inverted V. Press the hips up. Press the heels down. Open the shoulders. Inhale, right foot forward between the hands once more. Look up. Exhale, bring the left foot forward. Inhale and stretch gently up. Exhale, bring your arms down by your sides. Inhale as you exhale, bring your hands to prayer. Last time on the left. Inhale and stretch up, gently arch back. Exhale, reach forward and down, palms on the mat. Inhale, left leg back. Look up. Retain the breath in your lungs. Slide the right leg back. Come to push-up position. Exhale, knees, chest and chin down. Inhale, slide forward and up. Exhale, inverted V. Press the hips up as high as you can. Try to bring your heels down onto the mat. Inhale, bring your left foot forward between your hands. Bring the right knee down and stretch up. Exhale, right foot forward. Fold the head down in towards the knees. Inhale and stretch gently up. Exhale, bring your arms by your side. Separate your feet, bring them hip distance apart. Bend the knees slightly and slowly roll down, waking up the back. Staying here for a few breaths. Getting your breath back, nice and relaxed. And slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, keeping the knees soft till your head comes up last. Wonderful. So, we're going to do a forward bend. And depending on how flexible your hamstrings are, you might need a block or a stool, something to support you in front. We're doing Parsvottanasana. We've done it before. What it basically means is the legs are spread wide apart and you're stretching forward. So you might want to keep a block. Your legs are about 5 feet apart, nice and wide. Toes slightly turned in. Press down into the outer edges of the feet, straighten up the back. Pull up from the kneecaps, bring your hands to your hips, relax those shoulders. We're only going to stretch halfway at first. Take a deep breath in as you exhale. Stretch forward till your hips and your back are in one nice straight line. Neck growing long in line with your spine. Relax the shoulders, just staying here for a few breaths. If you want, just cheat a little bit and look down at your legs. The kneecaps should be pulled up. You're pressing down into the outer edges of the feet and your legs are absolutely straight. Continuing to stay there, 2 more breaths. And gently come back up. So you might have felt it in your calf, the outer aspect of the calf, when you turn the feet in slightly. You might have felt it a lot in your hamstring or at the backs of your knees. Or you may have even felt it in your glutes and your back. You shouldn't be feeling any stretch beyond a point of comfort in your hamstrings or in your back. When we lean further forward, I'd like you to go to the point where you're comfortable stretching, keeping both legs straight. I see a lot of people doing this stretch. They want to reach the floor, the hamstrings aren't open yet, so they bend their knees. And that's counterproductive, right? We're going to keep breathing nice and even, starting from our hips again, taking a deep breath in, leaning forward and this time going a little lower. Try and bring your hands down onto your block or your little stool or chair. Or if you can reach the floor, just have your fingertips down on the floor at first. Press down into the outer edges of the feet. Come up onto your fingertips and stretch up towards the ceiling. You're creating almost a concave back, a nice curve in your back, stretching upwards. And now we're going to fold in. Take a deep breath in, exhale and go a little deeper into the stretch. If you're on your block, you're doing the same thing on your block, trying to deepen the stretch on your block, wherever you are. If you have 2 blocks, you could use 2 of them to stabilize yourself. And if you're on the floor now, you're going to draw the fingertips in line with the toes. One more time, stretch up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and fold in. In the full pose, you try and bring the crown of your head down onto the mat. Elbows and shoulders are relaxed. They're stretching behind you, not to the side, so you can relax the shoulders completely. Try and stay here. So staying here, breathing here, wherever it is you're comfortable, holding the pose. 2 more nice long inhalations, long exhalations, and just allow gravity to take you wherever it wants to. Take a deep breath in, come back up onto your hands, onto your fingertips, bring the hands to your hips and gently come back up. Draw the feet in and shake those legs out. So we come back into this nice wide posture. We're going to do the stretch one more time. Wide-legged forward bend, Prasarita Padottanasana. This time we clasp our hands behind our back if you're stable here. If you're not, you can once again bring your hands to your hips. So bring your hands behind you. I'm going to clasp the fingers. If you can press the heel of the hands in, you can. Else, keep it open like this. Stretching up. And as you exhale, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, reach forward and down. Try and bring the arms forward behind you. Coming as close to the floor as you can. Maintaining your legs as straight as you can. Pressing down into the outer edges of the feet. Pulling up the kneecaps. Not feeling any strain in your lower back. You shouldn't be feeling pain or discomfort in your lower back. Breathing here for 3 long breaths. Wherever you feel comfortable. If you're more comfortable higher up, stay there. That's fine too. And gently come back up. Once you're up, before you get your feet in, have a look at your alignment. Whenever you're doing these kind of poses, make sure both your feet are in line with each other. If you're misaligned, you can hurt yourself or not be able to complete the stretch well. So bring your legs in and shake them out. And we're going to do another pose where we're going to bend forward but also sideways at the same time. So we're doing Parsvottanasana. Uttanasana or Uttan is to stretch intensely. Parshva is sideways. So we're going to turn sideways, turn your right foot to the right. Check your alignment before you start. The heel of the right foot and the arch of the left foot should be aligned right in the middle. Turn the left foot in slightly and now gently swivel your hips. Try and bring both your hips to face the same direction. Both are facing in front. They're nice and level. Keep your arms or your hands resting on your hips so you know where you are. Make sure that you're at the right distance so that you don't feel unstable. If you need to bring the leg in slightly, you can. Make sure you're feeling stable as you turn this way. So check at what distance you need to be in order to feel stable. And then gently stabilizing those hips, make them both face the same way. Take a deep breath in. We stretch forward just like we did before. Now we're going to reach as far forward as we can without bending both the legs. And if this is it for you, that is perfectly fine. You're still getting the same benefits out of the pose. You're going to feel a wonderful stretch on the front leg, the right leg, in the hamstring. But don't forget about the back leg. So press down into the outer edge of your left foot. From your hip into your heel. Feel that hip to heel connection. And if you can stretch further till your back is nice and straight, elongate the neck, look down at your foot. Try and feel stable here. If you need help, you can have a block or a stool next to you to support you, keep you nice and straight there. Try and straighten out your back, gently pulling the stomach into the spine and growing long from the sides of your body. Take another deep breath in here and come back up. Let's try the same thing on the other side. Find the right alignment, the right distance. They're about 4 feet apart. The heel of the left and the arch of the right foot are aligned. Turn the right toes in. Press down from the hips into the heel. Turn to face your left side. Press down into the heel of the right foot. Pull up from the stomach. Grow tall at first. Take a deep breath in. See if you can stretch up towards the sky without feeling unstable. And then reaching forward, pressing down into the outer edge of the back foot. Bringing the back in one straight line. drawing the neck out, elongating the neck, pulling up, using the stomach, holding on to those hips, trying to equalize the hips. Breathing there. One more nice long breath. And gently come back up. Come back to the center. Let's try this pose again. This time, we're going to try and reach further forward. Don't worry about whether your back is straight or not. Align the feet first. Turn the left foot in slightly. You're stretching towards your right. So you bring your hands to your hips, check your hips, stabilize the hips, press down into the outer edge of the back foot. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, reach forward. If you have a block or a stool or something next to you, you can use it for support. Continue to fold forward. And if you don't need that, you can also bring your fingertips onto the floor. In the full pose, we continue to stretch till the stomach and the chest fold over the leg. And you bring your head down towards the knees. Trying to press your palms down onto the floor. Don't force yourself into this position. Wherever you are, we're going to stay there for a while. 5 long breaths. If you need to be higher, stay higher. Make sure both the legs are straight and you're feeling a stretch in the hamstring of the front leg and pressing down into the outer edge of the back leg. Making sure both the hips are square. Breathing there. Nice long inhalations, long exhalations. And come back up. Bring your hands back to your hips. Nice and stable. Coming back to the center. Stretching the other way. The left foot is turned out. Right foot turned in. Check the alignment of the heel of the left, arch of the right. Turn towards the left side. Trying to bring both hips level with each other. At first, just reaching forward. Pressing down into the outer edge of the right heel of the right foot. And then continuing to stretch to whatever depth feels comfortable to you. Another thing you'd like to keep in mind is pulling up this leg, pulling up the left leg and the thigh bone into the hip socket, pulling it up into the hip socket as you inhale deeply, and as you exhale, allow yourself to fold forward. Staying here for nice 3 more breaths, breathing there. And coming back up, nice and stable, bring your hands back to your hips, straighten up the leg, come back to the center, draw the feet in, shake them out. So those were the standing forward bends. We're going to understand how the forward bend happens from the hip joint. So we're going to take a break from the mat and come away to a wall and use the wall for support to understand seated and standing forward bends. What you'll need is a mat which is not rolled up too thick, nice and tight like this, and a wall that you can lean against. If you don't have a mat, just use a blanket that you can roll up or a towel, anything that has a fair amount of thickness. So you're going to separate your feet, bring them hip distance apart and move away from the wall, not too close to the wall. When you're ready, bring your hips backwards to the wall and stretch your feet further forward till your legs are nice and straight. So you're kind of leaning on the wall. You're going to take your mat and tuck it into this fold of your hip, just where the abdomen and the hip meet. Make sure it's resting there inside the hip joint. The legs are nice and straight and you're going to fold forward. Use your stomach to kind of sandwich the mat between your hips or your thighs and your stomach. Reach forward and try to hold on to your shins or to your ankles, wherever you feel comfortable. Really feel your stomach work, feel your hips work. So your hips are pulling up to grip the mat and your stomach is pulling down towards the hips to keep that mat in place. Now we're going to bring the arms behind us. Take a deep breath in. Exhale fully, pull the mat in with your stomach and your hips, and on the next inhalation just press away from the wall. If you can, stretch your arms forward. If not, just hold on to your shins or your ankles, pulling the mat in with your stomach, trying to hold it there. If you need to, you can bend your knees slightly. Ideally, try and have your legs nice and straight. And bring your hands to your mat. Release it as you come up. So you would have felt your stomach work, you would have felt the legs, the thigh muscles work, pulling up And what that does is bring your attention to pulling up the hips, the thigh bone into the hip joint. Pulling it up as if you could really pull it, and the stomach working as well. So let's see what that feels like when you're on the floor. We're doing Parsvottanasana, seated forward bend, stretching out the entire back of the body. So you'll need a block or a cushion or a rolled up blanket under you and a belt. Just getting a feel of what that forward bend is going to do to your hips, your lower back, as well as with your stomach. So when you were against the wall and the rolled up mat was pressing into your hips, you felt an upward movement in your thighs in order to stretch and keep that mat where it was. At the same time, the stomach was stretching as well. So we're going to do the same thing. Try and imagine that rolled up mat there. Have your feet together, legs nice and straight, the back of the knees stretched out, toes stretching in towards you. The belt is placed just below your toes, not in the arch of the foot. Not here, but a little higher. You're going to stretch forward with your belt as you pull your stomach forward, up and forward, and pulling up with the thighs up into the hip joint. Imagine the femur, the thigh bone, coming into the thigh, into the hip joint as you stretch forward. Continue to stretch there, using your belt, reaching forward with the crown of your head, shooting forward there. And just staying here for a few breaths, wherever that is for you. So if you're a little higher, if you're here, that's perfectly fine too. That added height under you should help you to straighten out your back so that you can lean forward. If your back is here and your sacrum falling back, you have that little support to reach forward. So wherever you are, with the belt or without the belt, you're going to reach forward, pulling the thighs up into the hips, reaching forward rather than down. I don't want you to go down, reach forward, hold wherever you feel comfortable, either holding the belt or your toes, depending on how flexible you're feeling today, and just staying there for 10 long breaths. The elbows are relaxed, the shoulders are relaxed, the neck is relaxed. The backs of the thighs are working, the backs of the knees are working, the calves are stretching, your toes are coming in towards you. You're working your forearms a little bit, holding on to those feet. You're stretching your back right from the lower back all the way up to the top, near your neck. But your shoulder muscles and your joints are not in this way, they're relaxed. Relax them as much as you can. Relax the tension from your neck as much as you can. Just breathe and allow gravity to take you wherever it wants to. If that's fairly high up, that's fine too. Just stay there. Breathing here for 5 more breaths. And gently come back up. Relax your legs, relax your knees. Remove that height from under you. Let it go. We're going to do an opposing stretch. We'll try twice. Once the easier one, Parsvottanasana, inclined plane. Your hands are going to be facing behind you. And we'll do 2 versions of it, 2 variations of it. You choose which one you feel more comfortable doing. So in the first variation, you're like a table. And if you don't feel comfortable with your hands facing behind, you can also turn the fingers to the front. Experiment with it and see how you feel. We're going to come up onto the hands. So you're going to bring the legs up, the knees and the heels in line with each other. Keep pressing the hips up till you come into a nice flat table and then drop your head back. Staying here for 10 counts. And gently come back down. We're going to try another version of this, the full pose. So you have your legs straight out in front of you. The back nice and straight. Bring the hands behind you, about 6 to 8 inches behind you. Take a deep breath in. Press the hips up, this time with straight legs. Try and bring the toes down onto the floor. Drop the head back. Hold here for nice 10 seconds. And gently bring your hips down. Relax. Relax your arms. Relax your legs. Relax your shoulders. So now we come to the hip openers. The hip openers we're going to do along with the forward bend. So your legs are going to be slightly apart, not very wide, but you're going to try and keep the legs straight. Once again, if you feel very uncomfortable in your lower back, you can do this pose against a wall, or you can have a rolled up blanket under your hips to try and straighten up your back as much as you can. So the legs are nice and straight, knees are facing up towards the ceiling, backs of the legs are stretched. The toes are coming in towards you. Once again, you can use your belt if you want to stretch one leg at a time and really feel nice and straight there. Stretching back the other leg as well. Stretch it out as much as you can. We don't want to hyperextend the knee, so we are not bringing the heel off the floor. We're just stretching the leg out till it's nice and straight, and the knee joint is feeling stretched at the back, not uncomfortable. A hyperextension is when you go beyond the range of movement of the joint. So if this is my elbow and it comes to 180 degrees, if I can drop it beyond 180 degrees, that's a hyperextension, and that's not safe for the joint. So we need to be very careful when we're stretching. So as we reach forward now, try and bring your palms onto the floor. If you can, bring your elbows down onto the floor. Stretch your toes in towards you. Remember how the blanket or the yoga mat felt in the fold of your hip? So you're squeezing up with your hip and pressing forward with your stomach, gently reaching forward. Wherever you feel comfortable. If your lower back or your hamstrings start to protest, don't go beyond this point. If you're very, very flexible, you'll be able to reach far forward and try and bring your elbows and your forehead down. At all times, the knees are still facing up towards the ceiling. They're not coming in. So a pose is defined as something that helps you feel stable and peaceful or comfortable. Sthiram, that's stable. Sukham, that's easy. So don't go beyond the point where you're feeling stable and easy. And we're going to stay here for a good 10 long breaths. So continuing to stretch and staying there in that pose. Make sure your knees don't come in towards you. And gently come back up. Draw the feet in. Shake the legs out. We're going to try this stretch one more time. This time we're going to stretch the legs a little wider. So take them as far wide as you can. You will feel the leg stretching a little differently this time. You might feel it in your hamstring or in your outer thigh. Don't go beyond the point where you feel comfortable. We're going to stay there for 10 long breaths. I want you to really relax your breath as you're doing this stretch. That may be difficult for some of us who have very tight hamstrings or very tight lower backs. Then don't stretch too far forward. Just go where gravity allows you to stay peacefully and stay there for 10 long breaths. Again, the knees don't come in. The knees are turned up towards the ceiling or even turned out. The feet are coming in towards, the toes especially in towards you, so that the backs of the knees stay nice and stretched. Taking a deep breath in, reaching forward. See if you can bring your elbows down onto the floor. And if you feel more comfortable with your hands on the floor, then just stay here. Try and stretch out your back. Try not to hunch. Try to stretch out your back and just stay here. We're going to stay here for nice 10 breaths. Those of us who are more flexible can reach further forward. And just rest there, staying there for as long as you can. Nice long 10 breaths. Relaxed and peaceful. Slowly coming back up, wherever you were. Gently draw the legs in together and shake them out. So one more hip opener. Draw your feet in towards center of your body and flap your butterfly wings. You can do this slower or faster than I'm doing. feel a little openness in your hip joint as you're doing this. Some of us may be high up here. It's okay to flap here as well. And now, make a big diamond with your feet. Again, your knees might be higher up or lower down depending on the openness in your hip joint. You can have a bolster or a cushion under you to support your knees here if you like. We're just going to stretch forward, gently breathing there. Wherever your back, your hamstrings and your shoulders allow you to go. Try not to have the hands inside, that hunches up the shoulders. Relax the arms over the legs and reach as far forward as you can. Peacefully staying there for 5 breaths only. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck, breathing there, nice and deep. Gently come back up. Draw the right foot in towards the mid line of the body. And we're going to have an uneven stretch now. So the hamstring on your left leg will feel a little more of a stretch, maybe the hip on your right. Reach far forward as you can. Staying here for 5 breaths. Gently allowing your hip to open up as much as it wants to, not going beyond that point where you feel comfortable. Pay attention to your lower back as well, see what it's telling you. Gently come up. Make your diamond again. Draw the left leg in. Once again stretching forward, and this time check if there is an imbalance. Check if one leg feels more open than the other. Relaxing here for 5 long breaths, letting the hamstring and the hip open up in its own time, not overstretching. And gently come back up. Stretch out the legs, shake them out. So we're going to go down onto the floor now to release the lower back. You'll come down onto your mat in a lovely pose called the bridge, Setu Bandhasana. Relying on your back resting on the floor, make sure your lower back is on the floor. Straighten out your arms, and where your fingertips are touching, that's where your heels are. Your knees are hip distance apart, shoulders relaxed, and we're going to raise the hips and the back till just the shoulder blades or the tops of the shoulders remain on the floor. As you're doing this, be very careful that you don't crunch into the lower back. You're using the glute muscles and the hamstring muscles to gently push you up. You may have done similar exercises in a gym or in a fitness class where they ask you to tense or squeeze the buttocks. We are not doing that. So the buttocks are not squeezing, they are engaged but relaxed. Take a deep breath in. Use your thighs, the front thigh as well as the hamstring, to gently come up as high as you can, pressing down with your fingers very gently into the mat. Come up higher and higher till just your shoulder blades are on the mat. Now bring your awareness to your legs. Imagine your thighs are gently rolling in. The tendency is for the knees to go out, so we're going to try and maintain the knees in line with the hips, parallel to each other. Gently pushing up with the glutes and the hamstrings, holding there for a few more breaths, 3 breaths here. And gently bring the back down, 1 vertebra at a time, as if you're imprinting into sand on your mat. And then hug the knees into the chest and release the lower back. So we're going to try this pose one more time. I'd like you to see how flexible you are in your back and your feet, your ankles, your legs. It's perfectly fine to be exactly where we were before, heels ending where the fingertips touch, and when you come up, trying to keep the knees and the heels in line with each other. Or if you feel you are more flexible, you can pull the ankles in and try and hold them with all 4 fingers at the same time, making sure the knees are parallel. They are not going out, the knees are parallel. Take a deep breath in. As you inhale, come up as high as you can. Holding there. And even if your fingertips are down on the floor, rolling the thighs in, if you want to, you can interlock those fingers and press down into the floor as you stretch up with your thighs. In the ideal pose, you stretch up so high that the chest comes into the chin. If you're not ready to go there, that's fine too. If you're very flexible, you'll be able to fold your hands underneath, bring them under your lower back. Don't attempt this if you don't feel ready to do it. Staying here for 3 long breaths, making sure the knees are still parallel to each other. Not feeling any extra strain in your lower back. And if you tire before we come down, it's absolutely okay to release the pose. 1 last long breath here. And gently release the pose. Hug the knees into the chest. Gently rock them from side to side, massaging your hips and the small of your back on the mat. Releasing one leg. And then stretching the other. Getting ready to go into nice relaxed corpse pose. Your legs are 3 to 4 feet apart. Toes are falling away from each other. Make sure you're not arching your lower back. Your lower back is relaxed on the floor. If you feel your lower back arches, you can put a pillow right under your knees. So the lower back is relaxed, and this is a very relaxing place for your legs and your lower back when you're in the corpse pose. You can put a pillow under each knee or a bolster. Relax the shoulders, turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Make sure you don't have too many things cluttered around you, so you can spread out peacefully. Stretch out the neck, relax the neck completely, and then get ready to talk to your body one body part at a time, starting with your toes, the balls of your feet, the arches of your feet, the tops of the feet and the heels, the ankles. Telling your feet, I'm relaxing my feet. Watch your breath for a moment. Listen to the sounds around you. Relax your jaw, relax the skin of your forehead. Bring your awareness back to your feet. Now allow your calves, your shins and your knees to relax fully. Your thighs and your hips also starting to relax. Take a deep breath in. Exhale fully, empty out the lungs. The more deeply you exhale, the more deeply you can inhale. So nice deep inhalations and very long, slow exhalations. Bring your awareness back to your legs, telling your legs, I'm relaxing my legs. Bring your awareness to your stomach now, your lower back, your middle back, shoulders and upper back, relaxing them completely. Relaxing your neck, your chest and your shoulders. Continuing to breathe very nice and deep. Letting the arms relax as well. The muscles of the collarbones, around the collarbones. The muscles around the shoulder blades. Near the shoulders, just below the armpits, along the sides of your body. All starting to relax now. Relax your jaw. Relax your mouth and your tongue. The muscles around the eyes, around the nose, around the ears, around the mouth. And now just allowing your mind to wander. Taking a moment to connect with your breath or your body or whatever it is you're thinking or feeling, observing yourself. And then just resting there in that moment, enjoying whatever the moment brings you. So those were our forward bends and hip openers. Join us again next time when we do deeper back bends but in a really safe way. You're watching Yoga with AJ. Remember to connect with yourself and subscribe to the channel.